Hey guys, Mars Thinking here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so I've been at work all day, I've been interacting with some of you guys on Twitter, and I haven't been able to make a video about the Halloween campaign until now when I get home. So in a way, it's interesting that I'm going to make this video now because obviously it's quite late to announce it as if it was breaking news. But we've had a day for the initial reactions to sort of subside and then for people to start looking at the things in the celebration, looking at the banner and the value, and I do think a lot of people who got disappointed very quickly jumped the gun a little bit. And I do think some of that is down to something that does happen a lot in the fandom. I mean, it kind of happens in every community, really. But when the Dokkan Festival ticket was data mined, obviously everybody started having these really cool ideas for things that we would like to see. You know, a global first. Could we get like Angel Frieza this early? All we knew is there was going to be a Dokkan Fest banner, so it wasn't like a random surprise unfeatured sort of thing. But yeah, so that built up the hype, and then of course when they announced that it was in fact a banner that was just going to have technically no new units on it, people got disappointed. But if we look at the campaign, and I've got last year's one up as well, so obviously this stuff is basically all the same, that you just get daily missions. The stone sale is exactly the same, I've already checked that. And then this is the banner we got, and we got a ticket pack, we got a Kai banner, and then of course we got a new, well, I guess technically it's still a Halloween unit, because the story is still kind of Halloween themed, I guess. So we got a new event with a farmable character. And then, of course, we got the Extreme Z area for 2 characters. So already, if we have a look at the previous year, so this stuff is all the same, the sales were the same. So last year we got the Full Power Frieza LR banner because the Dokkan Fest before Halloween was Namek Goku. And we already knew that this was part 2 of the Namek Goku celebration from JP. So we kind of expected this to be coming. So obviously there was no sort of like hype build up for it being something crazy like a global first or whatever. But I feel like this banner is definitely a more disappointing banner than the one that we have now, because first of all, it's a legendary summon banner, so you only want the new LR or I guess the chance to pull some other LRs that you don't have, but every other featured unit you probably don't really want, and you're going to end up this is one of the ones where you really sort of just throw your fate into the hands of RNG, because some people can do a few multis and get an LR or 2, and then some people can go in pretty deep and just pull loads of terrible featured units. So I definitely think the banner we got was better. Then of course we got the event with the new Halloween unit, so that's the same. And then instead of an Extreme Z area, this is when Ghost Tanks and Candy Vegito got their TUR forms. So it's kind of comparable to the 2 Extreme Z areas, I guess. And then obviously the Dokkan Fest units came back for some of the banners. We got an Easy A. Now obviously, you guys know I'm excited about this. So one of the big things for this for me is, of course, we're now getting the Easy A for Super 17. So Broly came out first on JP. Then Super 17, Broly was incredibly underwhelming, so of course being the first 120 leader to get an Easy A, it made us all a little bit nervous. But then Super 17 came out and was incredibly good, so obviously I was happy about that anyway. You guys know how much we love Super 17 on the channel. So yeah, the fact that we're getting his Easy A before Broly is actually awesome, because unfortunately, like I say, unless they buff Broly for global, which is not impossible, he's just super underwhelming, and I can't imagine outside of like doing the first couple of like showcases and trying him out in some of the different events, I'm probably never going to use him after that. And that is the example of a bad Easy A. You want them to take a unit that you don't really use anymore or isn't quite up to snuff with the current meta and then make them solidly in the meta again. And Super 17's one absolutely does do that. Because as much as I like him, I've still used him on the good teams that he fits on. But when we've done runs on like the Legendary Goku event or some of the later Infinite Dragon Ball histories, once you get towards the end, he does start to take quite a lot of damage. And his Easy A completely fixes that, and he becomes an incredible unit. So we get a better Easy A this time around, and we're getting the Super 17 early, which is better than the Broly. Only the best for global. So the banner plays a really big part in why I think the celebration is good for a lot of people, and it's for multiple different reasons, and not all of them are just about summoning on the banner. So obviously we've just come out of the worldwide celebration, and I'm sure a lot of people, and then of course Gohan, so a lot of people will be very low on stones. So this is one of those banners that you can skip it, even though it is really good, because we've got a big hype celebration coming up in November with 3+1 multis and tickets, which will be the Boo, Tech Boo, and the Int Gotenks. Those banners are always going to be good to summon on because of the 3+1 and the tickets, and the featured units on them are going to be really good. So if a banner comes out that really tempts you, like imagine if we got a global first and it was something really, really hype, a lot of people just not going to have stones, which you could say Akatsuki would do it that way on purpose so that people will spend, but there's always going to be those players who will not spend. So then they're not going to be able to pull for that unit. And so yeah, like a legendary summon banner is definitely a banner that's kind of an easy skip, especially for most free-to-play people. But again, not even necessarily summoning on the banner. By this banner coming back, it means all of these units are now available in the red coin shop. So Int Future Gohan finally coming back is really big, because I remember when we were talking on a different video, it might be a podcast episode, but I think Goresh was saying that the Int Future Gohan is the only Dokkan Fest exclusive that he doesn't have rainbowed, because he pulled 2 or 3 copies from his original banner and then stopped, obviously not knowing he wasn't going to come back for like 9 months. So for people like that, you can just pick up the last 1 or 2 copies, especially if you have a bunch of red coins. But you have options like Cooler. I know he was just here recently, but depending on how much people summoned for Gohan, you might have finally been up to 400 red coins. Kaioken Goku hasn't been back a ton of times, so he's obviously quite good, especially if you have LR, UI Goku. And then Android 13, he's basically the best link partner for Super 17, who obviously is getting the Easy A, so having them two together is really good. And he is super underrated. He's a really good unit. Namek Goku is obviously solid and leads a very good team. And then, of course, unfortunately, they had to throw a unit like this in here. So at least it's Vegeta this time and not transforming Goku, because although I think at this point they're both just on a million banners all the time. But yeah, unfortunately, I have seen quite a few people today who only got one like featured unit multi, and it was the Vegeta. So F's in the chat. But yeah, so, and then of course if you are a bit of a whale, you know, we got some sales which you can pick up and then either start saving towards Gotenks and Boo, or you can go in on the banner. So we got a Pilaf ticket, which is what, like $7 or $8. It gives you a 7 unit multi that has a guaranteed SSR. It's not guaranteed featured, but when you think about how that converts over to like stones and how much it would cost to buy a few stones to do like 7 singles, which of course won't be guaranteed SSR at any point, it's definitely good value. Now I've seen a bit of RNG on that as well. I've seen people get some pretty terrible ones, and then I've seen people pull like double featured units in that 7 unit multi. And then of course the banner has a single discounted step, which is 40 stones instead of 50 for just a normal 10 unit multi guaranteed SSR, not featured. I would probably recommend that most people do that. Like if you have the 40 stones to spare, unless you are free to play and saving for the thank you celebration in November, I do recommend at least doing the 40 stone multi. I've seen a few people get quite lucky off of that one. And then, of course, like I say, if you are somebody who does want to spend, you can go in a couple of multis and see how your luck favours you. I personally got very lucky. I tweeted out the pulls earlier, and I've seen quite a few people pull some solid units. And then, of course, if you complete all the missions for the Halloween celebration, I think you get like 4 spare tickets. And again, I've seen people, including myself, get quite lucky on 1 or 2 of those single summons as well. So obviously a lot of that comes down to RNG. So I'm not saying like the celebration is great solely because you could summon on this really cool banner that has really good units on it, and you're going to get these really good units, because even if you go in with stones, you might not necessarily do well. But it's definitely a banner that can be skipped, provides a lot of new units available in the coin shop, or if you do want to summon, does have quite a bit of value, because these are all fairly solid units. I mean, even transforming Vegeta, he is good, but obviously he's not really the one most people are going to want to be pulling. And then, of course, the last point about the celebration, obviously a couple of Easy A's come back. Bunch more events, story events. And then, of course, with this celebration, we're finally getting another World Tournament. Now, I know a lot of people don't like the World Tournament. I don't really like it, but I'm going to go out on a... I'm going to be that guy and come out and say I think the World Tournament... I prefer playing the World Tournament to Chain Battle. So, World Tournament, not the worst mode in the game anymore. I don't know how many people will agree with that, but... yeah, so this is going to be the World Tournament where we finally get Demon King Piccolo as the new friend reward. So he makes the tournament worth playing just to get him. He is really good. I'm going to do a more detailed video about it as we get closer to the tournament, because it's like a week away. And then they introduce this Trunks, who is a movie hero support unit. I think he's the first BoJack movie Trunks. I do quite like this Trunks with like the jacket and the long hair. But yeah, he's fairly solid. He's probably not going to be a top choice for something like the... movie hero stage of Super Battle Road, but he'll still be a pretty solid support unit for that team, and he's uniquely named, so he's not taking up a spot of anyone else. And then obviously, again, Demon Piccolo is really good. Now, on JP, when they got the 34th World Tournament, which is, again, for them, it was the first one where they got the Demon King Piccolo. With this one, they got Hellfighter 17, who obviously came early to Global, but with this one, they got the Awakening for the High School Gohan. And once, if we get confirmation that we are getting that, then obviously I'll do a video about him as well. He becomes incredibly good, like one of the better support units on most of the categories that he's on. So him coming is really good as well. Now, obviously, I know a lot of people say things like, but bringing out a new banner isn't content. So I feel like that's going to be people's biggest complaint with the celebration, is the lack of overall content. Because obviously a story mode to farm up a new free-to-play unit that has like 2 stages, it doesn't take very long to fully farm up Gohan and Pan and have them like rainbowed and ready to go. And then the Extreme Z area, a lot of people don't like it anyway, but this one is quite easy. There's a lot of free-to-play units, and if you have some of the summonable units, it's just really easy. And both these units, Easy Aid, are very good. But again, that doesn't take a huge amount of time. So obviously it's not big in terms of content, but like I tried to show at the beginning, it's only the Halloween celebration. So people that, if anyone was expecting we were going to get a load of stuff, you know, this is what we got last year. It basically amounts to the same amount of things. So obviously it's not great that they're bringing out a quote-unquote celebration and it doesn't have a huge amount of content. But, I mean, these are the kind of filler celebrations that we're used to. So for one of those filler celebrations, I do think this one is good. I think people overhyped it to themselves a bit too much, and maybe that's why they're disappointed. But I'm interested to know what you guys think about the whole thing. So what do you think of the new Grandpa Gohan and Pan? What do you think of the Easy Aid for the free-to-play units? And then what do you think of the banner? Did you summon? Did you get lucky? Let me know down below in the comments section. So yeah, I'm looking forward to hearing your guys' opinions. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Master Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. The link to my Discord is in the description, so feel free to join in there. And I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.